During the early 1960s, Boston was a city gripped by an atmosphere of apprehension and uncertainty. Amid a series of unexplained disappearances, the public was forced to confront the shadow of fear that loomed over every neighborhood. Law enforcement agencies were challenged by the complexities of these incidents, struggling to piece together evidence from a crime scene that often offered few tangible clues. In this context, the case that would later become known as the fingerprint clue emerged, marking a turning point in forensic investigation methodologies across the nation. This case would eventually reshape modern criminal investigations. Its significance remains influential. Albert DeSalvo soon emerged as the primary suspect following a confession made during an unrelated interrogation. His involvement introduced layers of complexity to an already intricate investigation. Despite the initial uncertainty and controversy surrounding his admission, subsequent forensic analysis would eventually corroborate key elements of his narrative. Investigators faced the challenge of deciphering whether DeSalvo's confession was a sincere acknowledgement of criminal activity or a misguided attempt to divert suspicion. This complex scenario captured the attention of many observers, incredibly significant. A deep dive into the forensic evidence reveals that fingerprints occupied a central role in the investigation. At a time when forensic science was developing rapidly, the use of fingerprint analysis introduced a method of linking physical evidence to the perpetrator. Investigators meticulously documented and examined prints found on various items at the scenes of the disappearances. This method represented one of the earliest applications of systematic forensic technology. The utilization of fingerprint evidence not only provided a tangible connection to the suspect, but also underscored an evolving reliance on scientific rigor in criminal investigations. The advancement of such techniques promised to eliminate reliance on eyewitness accounts and unreliable testimonies, thereby heralding a more objective approach to solving crimes. The implications of this investigative breakthrough resonated with the public and law enforcement alike, setting a precedent for the modern integration of technology into crime-solving practices. This success fortified public trust. With these developments in mind, it becomes clear that the case of Albert DeSalvo represents more than an isolated criminal incident. It marks a transformative era in criminal investigation, showcasing how scientific methods evolved to address challenging cases. The narrative of the fingerprint clue underscores the critical interplay between technology, evidence, and justice. As viewers reflect on the intricate details of this case, they are invited to consider how the integration of modern forensic techniques continues to shape the pursuit of truth. The enduring legacy of this case remains a focal point for analyses. Justice stands restored. Boston, in the early 1960s, presented a unique social and cultural backdrop that would influence every facet of its criminal investigations. The city, with its rich historical legacy and bustling urban life, suddenly found itself struggling under the weight of fear and uncertainty. A series of unexplained disappearances had shaken the community's faith, leaving families desperate for answers and police departments on high alert. The cold, calculated nature of these abductions, combined with the perplexing lack of concrete evidence, made the investigation particularly challenging. Law enforcement officials, burdened by the need to quickly restore public confidence, adopted multiple strategies to locate missing persons and identify potential threats. Neighborhoods that once enjoyed a harmonious coexistence were transformed into sites of suspicion and vigilance, with residents reluctant to venture out after dusk. The resulting atmosphere provided fertile ground for both rumors and innovative techniques in forensic science. This turbulent period not only challenged traditional investigative methods, but also necessitated the adoption of novel forensic strategies. As the investigation advanced, each new disappearance deepened the mystery, compelling authorities to explore every potential lead with unwavering determination. These collective challenges set the stage for a transformative era in forensic investigations in Boston beyond compare. Following the initial investigations, attention turned toward Albert DeSalvo, whose presence in the records and his eventual confession captured the focus of the inquiry. DeSalvo's admission, which occurred during an interrogation unrelated to the disappearances, introduced new and perplexing dimensions to the unfolding narrative. Law enforcement officials were faced with the challenge of deciphering whether this confession was a sincere acknowledgement of criminal activity or a misguided attempt to divert suspicion. As the investigation progressed, inconsistencies in his testimony were scrutinized thoroughly, yet the accumulating circumstantial evidence gradually began to align with his account. DeSalvo's case thus emerged as emblematic of the broader uncertainties that haunted the city during that period. His involvement, marked by both apparent contradictions and compelling elements, constituted a turning point that would eventually influence the evolution of forensic procedures and law enforcement practices within Boston. The circumstances surrounding his confession continue to provoke debate, highlighting the difficulties inherent in reconciling human testimony with forensic evidence. Investigators remain divided in their opinions as further inquiries and subsequent discoveries added layers of complexity to an already intricate case. The duality of DeSalvo's narrative raised important questions regarding the reliability of voluntary admissions in criminal proceedings with certainty. At the heart of this investigative journey lay the crucial discovery of the fingerprint clue, which served as a beacon of scientific promise amid the perplexity of the case. Investigators meticulously collected and catalogued fingerprints found at several crime scenes, seeing in each print a potential link to the elusive perpetrator. This forensic approach, though in its nascent stages, demonstrated the value of physical evidence in establishing connections that were previously only speculative. Detailed analyses of these prints, performed with the most advanced techniques available at the time, provided essential insights that gradually eliminated innocent leads. As the records were examined and re-examined, the fingerprint evidence began to paint a clearer picture of how the suspect might have interacted with the crime scenes. The systematic documentation of these prints not only enhanced the credibility of the investigation, but also signified a departure from reliance on anecdotal or circumstantial inputs. Law enforcement officials recognized that, despite certain limitations, the fingerprint clue was a critical piece of the puzzle, one that heralded the potential for more rigorous forensic methodologies. This phase of the investigation underscored the importance of integrating tangible scientific methods into the realm of criminal inquiry, thereby setting the stage for future advances in fingerprint and forensic analyses. In the ensuing months, authorities leveraged the insights derived from fingerprint analysis to narrow their focus. This breakthrough not only bridged gaps in the evidence, but also fostered a more systematic approach to matching suspects with crime scene details with utmost precision. Years after the initial investigation in Boston, advancements in forensic science ushered in a new era marked by the utilization of DNA evidence. This development revolutionized the approach to linking physical evidence to specific individuals. In the case of Albert DeSalvo, reanalysis of preserved samples eventually revealed genetic markers that were consistent with the fingerprint evidence previously gathered. The introduction of DNA testing provided an additional layer of verification, reinforcing earlier findings and addressing lingering doubts about the reliability of the initial methods. Scientists and forensic experts collaborated to ensure that the DNA evidence was scrutinized under rigorous standards. The confluence of old and new methodologies not only substantiated the association between DeSalvo and at least one incident, but also underscored the evolving landscape of criminal forensics. Consequently, the incorporation of DNA analysis served as a pivotal moment, reaffirming the significance of combining traditional fingerprint techniques with modern genetic testing, and symbolizing the broader shift towards interdisciplinary approaches in the investigative process. In subsequent investigations, retrospective DNA analyses provided the necessary confirmation that sealed the case, offering an unparalleled degree of certainty, beyond all doubt indeed. One of the most significant outcomes of the DeSalvo case was its lasting influence on investigative methodologies nationwide. In the wake of the case, law enforcement agencies began to incorporate more systematic and scientifically driven approaches in their routines. Traditional reliance on witness testimony and circumstantial evidence gradually gave way to more objective, data-driven techniques. Fingerprint analysis, once a novel approach, was refined and integrated with emerging technologies, setting a new standard for forensic investigations. The successful use of fingerprint evidence provided the impetus for broader adoption of scientific methods, even as skepticism and challenges persisted. Additionally, the later incorporation of DNA testing into investigative protocols underscored the importance of continually updating forensic methodologies. This evolution not only enhanced the precision of criminal investigations, but also contributed to a more trustworthy judicial process. By learning from past oversights and embracing modern technology, law enforcement has been better equipped to address the complexities of criminal behavior in an ever-changing social landscape. This transformative shift has resulted in more efficient investigations and higher rates of accurate convictions. The adoption of refined forensic technologies continues to inspire procedural reforms within law enforcement agencies across the country, ensuring justice through continuous scientific advancement. As the investigation unfolded, public sentiment oscillated between skepticism and cautious optimism. Local media provided extensive coverage of every development, scrutinizing the methods employed by law enforcement and questioning the veracity of emerging evidence. Headlines and news reports painted a picture of a city on edge, where every clue was subject to intense public debate. Families of the missing found themselves caught in a maelstrom of media attention, while commentators explored both the scientific innovations and shortcomings of the investigative process. This widespread interest not only increased the pressure on investigative agencies, but also served to enhance accountability. The community's response was a testament to the deep-rooted demand for transparency and the pursuit of truth in criminal investigations, reflecting the lasting impact of the case on societal attitudes towards forensic science. The reaction from both the general public and academic circles underscored a profound call for improved forensic accountability indeed. Forensic experts have long debated the reliability of techniques employed during the initial stages of the investigation. While some practitioners caution against over-reliance on confessions obtained under pressure, others emphasize the tangible significance of physical evidence, such as fingerprints. Disagreements persist regarding the interpretation of available data, and the DeSalvo case remains a point of reference in discussions of methodological rigor. Despite these controversies, the case has undeniably contributed to the refinement of forensic science practices, urging professionals to adopt more comprehensive approaches in future investigations. Leading scholars assert that this case continues to offer lessons for modern forensic protocols. Reflecting on the case of Albert DeSalvo, it is evident that this investigation has left a lasting imprint on both historical and contemporary forensic practices. The interplay between fingerprint analysis and DNA testing illustrates the progress that has been made over decades in the realm of criminal investigations. Modern forensic science now benefits from both advanced technology and lessons learned from past oversights. As the integration of traditional and modern methods continues to evolve, the balance between human testimony and scientific evidence is more critically assessed than ever before. This case serves as a reminder that every breakthrough, regardless of its origin, adds a vital chapter to the collective knowledge of law enforcement. It encourages ongoing dialogue between practitioners, researchers, and the public regarding the future of criminal justice. As we review these developments, the need for methodological precision remains as relevant today as it was during challenging times. Upon reflection, the case of Albert DeSalvo, particularly through the lens of the fingerprint clue, stands as a monumental example of the evolution of forensic investigation. The journey from a city gripped by fear to the implementation of advanced forensic methods represents not only a pivotal moment in criminal justice, but also a testament to the enduring pursuit of truth. Each phase of the investigation, from the initial, rudimentary gathering of evidence to the later, more definitive application of DNA testing, underscored a continuous commitment to scientific rigor and methodological refinement. The integration of both traditional fingerprint analysis and modern genetic techniques exemplified the potential for interdisciplinary approaches to solve even the most complicated cases. This case also served as a crucible for public debate and scholarly discussion, influencing subsequent protocols and inspiring innovative practices in law enforcement. Moreover, the advent of new technologies following the DeSalvo investigations acted as a catalyst for change across multiple sectors of criminal investigation. As conventional methods gave way to pioneering scientific techniques, the procedural landscape experienced a transformation that enhanced both the accuracy of criminal identifications and the overall integrity of the judicial process. This evolution has reverberated well into contemporary forensic science, influencing training programs, investigative methodologies, and even legislative frameworks designed to support accurate crime-solving endeavors. A careful analysis of the case reveals a strong correlation between technological advancement and the pursuit of justice. While some aspects of the case remain contentious, the overarching narrative is one of progress and relentless improvement. It is clear that the lessons learned from this investigation continue to inform and shape modern forensic practices. As the discussion moves beyond mere historical interest, it is critical that current and future practitioners acknowledge how these landmark cases serve as both cautionary tales and beacons of possibility. In closing, let these events remind us that the confluence of science and law can lead to powerful revelations, fundamentally altering the way justice is served. By examining the intricate details of the case, one gains insight into the challenges inherent in balancing human error and scientific precision. The impact of such a transformative case underscores the importance of adaptive and forward-thinking investigative techniques. Subscribe my channel to explore further pivotal crime stories that illuminate the path of forensic evolution and continue to inspire a future built on transparency and relentless inquiry. Ultimately, the enduring legacy of this investigation serves as a constant reminder that progress in forensic science is not merely a technical achievement, but a profound commitment to the pursuit of justice for all, a beacon for future reforms.